بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I was explaining اختصار علوم الحديث to a group of the students here in Egypt, and we finished the book together, but probably towards the end of the book, or maybe in the middle of the book or so, we had this experience. We were talking about al-jarh wa al-ta'dil and the different expressions of al-jarh wa al-ta'dil, and the fact that sometimes what scholars or critics say is not clear, because we do not share the same culture, we do not share the same references with them, and this might make it difficult for us to get what they are really saying. And one of them actually asked me about an incident that happened when Abu Hatim al-Razi, when he was asked by his son about a narrator, if I remember correctly, Jubair ibn al-Mughallis, and then his father said, Bayna Yaday Adl. Yes. And if you are reading the book of Ibn Abi Hatim al-Razi, Al-Jarh wa al-Ta'dil Ibn Abi Hatim, in which he narrates from his father and from Abi Zur'a, you will find that it's written Bayna Yaday Adl. However, it can also be read Bayna Yadi Adl, Bayna Yaday Adlin, أو بين يدي عدل, يعني هو عدل عندي, or to me he is righteous, or to me he is accepted. And then I told the student that yes, I can tell you about this and the whole story about this and everything. However, I remembered what I received from one of my Wahhabi shuyukh, with whom I learned Ulum al-Hadith more than like 12-13 years ago. And then this Shaykh quoted his Shaykh Abd al-Karim al-Khudair, or it's either his Shaykh or someone from whom he benefited. Abd al-Karim al-Khudair, famous Salafi Wahhabi Shaykh in Saudi. Shaykh Abd al-Karim al-Khudair mentioned the story of Ibn Abi Hatim al-Razi and Abi Hatim al-Razi, and he said that Al-Hafiz Zayn al-Din al Iraqi radiyallahu anhu read this statement of Abi Hatim al-Razi, and he thought that it was Bayna Yadi Adlun, and he thought that it was an authentication, that the narrator was actually praised by Abi Hatim al-Razi. And this was his conclusion. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Hajar al-Asqalani al-Iraqi, is a student, doubted it, because he saw that the account of Jubair ibn al-Mughallis was full of dispraise, was full of like accusations, not accusations like that he was not a good narrator, that he was not a good memorizer of al-Hadith, that he was not actually a very good narrator, as I said. This made him question and doubt the whole thing. And Shaykh al-Islam ibn Hajar kept doing his research, and he found something in Kitab al-Aghani that showed him like definitive proof that Bayna Yaday Adl, which is the way of like saying it, which is the way of understanding it. Bayna Yaday Adl, Adl is the name of a person, does not mean Adl, which is righteous. It means the name of this person, and this person was like the leader of the police. Yes, in some someone employed him as the leader of the police, and whenever this emir or this governor, whenever he wanted to get rid of a person, to kill a person, he will just send him to this person whose name is Adl. So al-Amma, the common people started saying Bayna Yaday Adl, And he found Shaykh al-Islam in Kitab al-Aghani li Abil Faraj al-Asfahani, Abil Faraj al-Asbahani, a great book in literature, yes, a story in which Al-Ma'mun and others were talking and they were using this expression. Khalas, a man used it to express that one of his eyes يعني is a bad eye, the other one is a sound eye, no problem, but the other eye is a bad eye. In order to express this meaning, yes, he said بين يدي عدل, بين يدي, one eye is sound, the other one بين يدي عدل, to indicate that the other eye is not really a good eye, or it's not a sound eye or a sound as the other one. بين يدي عدل as an expression. And now we benefit, that Shaykh al-Islam ibn Hajar benefited this cultural reference, yes, from a great book of literature which is Kitab al-Aghani, only to be surprised that my Shaykh and his Shaykh were saying, yeah, but the students of knowledge are not supposed to read in these books, especially beginners and intermediate students, only scholars read in these books. And this sounds like there is like a Vatican or so. Yani I would prohibit people from reading the books of Sidi Muhyiddin ibn al-Arabi al-Hatimi al-Ta'i, yes, the Sufi, or I would prevent them from reading the books of Shaykh al-Islam Taqiyuddin ibn Taymiyyah, yes, and not beginners, anyone who is not in need of these books. An intermediate student could be in need, then I would never prevent them or him from reading the book. However, we were told not to read in the books of literature, although now we benefited. The great Imam like Al Iraqi was deprived of this great benefit. His student Shaykh Islam ibn Hajar got it after reading in the book of Al-Aghani by Abil Faraj al-Asfahani. And the book is full of haram things, full of al-mujun. This is a book of literature. Anyone deceived you into learning your religion from it? When I open this book, am I going to learn if I open it, do I expect to learn al-Aqidah from it, for instance? It's a book of literature and it is beneficial. As a book of literature, and reading books of literature is really important. Yes, reading poetry is really important. And you find in poetry worse things sometimes. So this is a very interesting concept that you see. And I call things as they are. I think this is hypocrisy. This is hypocrisy. Anyway, yeah, so one more thing. In the comments, sometimes you try to be clever. A lot of you are not that knowledgeable. A lot of you are just ignorant people. Let's face things as they are. Let's not deceive ourselves. Do not be like delusional or anything. Just face the reality. Okay? This clever comment, no tolerance here. This clever comment that says, yeah, but the story of Sulaiman ibn Abdul Wahhab or Muhammad ibn Wahhab trying to kill his brother Sulaiman, probably not an author. No, it's not with an isnad. Do you want Malik an Nafi' ibn Umar to narrate the story? Ibn Humayd, a historian, narrated it. What do you want? What do you require in something like this? More important things have weaker and disconnected asanid. It's just your lack of fiqh, your lack of knowledge. Yes. What do you do the rest of your day? Those people who comment on social media, what do you do in the rest of your day? Do you practice al-ilm? Do you study most of the time? Do you study 14 hours, 16 hours? Every day do you study 2 hours? Yeah. You will have a very weak mindset, very weak mentality. It will never allow you to say proper things, wise things. You'll just say nonsense, and you know what the problem is? You'll never be able to know. You'll be saying nonsense and you have no idea that this is nonsense. Only when you become a scholar, you will look back at these things and you will feel ashamed. All this to say that I know, take this from me, Abu Faraj ibn al-Jawzi dispraised and somehow attacked and harshly criticized the book of Al-Aghani. So here is, let me do it your way in the comments. Instead of you doing it, I will do it and try to respond to it. Look how I respect myself. I say I will try to respond. I didn't say I am the sword of Al-Hanabila who is responding to you, or the falcon of Al-Sunnah al-Jama'ah. You know, these things that you say and these things that you, stupid things. Some stupid people, most of people are stupid, especially those on social media. Try, because now you are like better than other people, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose you to study al-ilm. If you are studying it in the first place, yes, try to leave the crowds, because it's never beneficial this way. How come you say something like this? Abu Faraj ibn al-Jawzi attacked the book, said it's full of al-mujun wal-fisq, and it's not a beneficial book. If you look meticulously into it, do not do this, just read it quickly, do not spend a lot of time on it, or he said something to that meaning. Yeah, but you see, Ibn al-Jawzi did not benefit from the book of Al-Aghani the benefit that Ibn Hajar, Shaykh al-Islam, benefited. Did not. And who brought to our attention this benefit? From whom did I learn about Ibn Hajar wal Iraqi and the whole story of Bayna, Yaday, Adl? From this Wahhabi Shaykh with whom I was studying Ulum al-Hadith, who narrated it from Shaykh Abdul Karim al-Khudair. Thanks to them, I know this. But look how they analyze things. Stop reading. For the beginner and the intermediate students, you do not read these books. And for advanced mashayikh, you read these books in order to take some time off al-ilm, in order to spend some time. We study these things the same way we study al-Hadith wal-Quran. And this is something else that he said. You do not get busy doing these things like literature, because it will keep you busy from studying Al-Quran wa Sunnah properly and things that serve Al-Quran wa Sunnah. This is a book that serves Al-Quran wa Sunnah. With all the mujun and the fisq that it includes, it serves Al-Quran wa Sunnah indirectly. And maybe it was not his intention, this Abu Faraj al-Asfahani, al-Shi'i, and they call him fasiq and everything. By the way, I do not doubt these things, I'm not saying, he was the most righteous person. No, he was not. Yes. But I'm telling you, the book is beneficial. It has to be read. And it widens your horizons. And instead of being this stupid person who's commenting on social media, yes, it widens your horizons. This is the story of Bayna Yaday Adl. I hope you find it beneficial, because I definitely, it was the highlight of my practice with al-Wahhabiyya, with whom I studied Ulum al-Hadith, because it was really ironic, and it's in front of them and they do not see it. It was a turning point in my study with them. I think after this story I stopped going to the Shaykh immediately. Stopped going to him, because I thought there could be some benefit if I studied with him. But no, it was no. Even if it was beneficial, this is really harmful. This way of thinking is really harmful. Anyway, Kitab al-Aghani is a very good book if you read it, because you read literature. Never take fiqh from it. If you find fiqh, never take al-aqa'id from it, because it's not a book that teaches al-aqa'id, just literature. And if you are studying the main disciplines, then you have to add literature, whether poetry, prose, or anything else. I hope you take this into consideration, because it's really important for any student, whether you speak Arabic or not. By the way, literature is important. والله تعالى أعلى وأعلم وصلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.